Just a reminder, I'm starting chapter 1 of Robert Bly's book, Iron John, a book about men. So pick up your book, links on myrulesforlife.com. Quick announcement, May 18th, we are going to go to Columbus and see John Wick 3, so check out the men's meetup announcement on the website. So I got through the introductory, and I wanted to just point out a couple of things about the book real quick. So Robert Bly says, by the time a man is 35, he knows the images of the right man, the tough man, the true man, which was received in high school, do not work in life. Such a man is open to new visions of what a man is or could be. So what he's saying is there's something wrong, and I think all men feel it or understand it. They just maybe not even are able to articulate it. So I think he's starting off right on the top as something that I'm in favor for, is understanding what's wrong. He also says, King Arthur, we learn the value of the male mentor in the lives of young men. I think that's pretty obvious, right? Young men in our society have a lack of good, positive male role models. And just look up the statistics. I think it's pretty clear. Once you hit working class and below, the divorce rate is just atrocious, and young men don't have positive role models in their lives. So, moving from, Iron John's story is the importance of moving from the mother realm to the father realm. This is really about moving away from adolescence into adulthood. And although we are getting older and our physical bodies are adults, we haven't progressed into the fullness of adulthood and as far as men are concerned. And he continues that we learn how the essential it is to leave our parental expectations entirely and find the second father or second king. I think this is important because this is alluding to a higher star or a greater encompassing of values and being. And so I'm kind of excited to see how he explains this. The grief in men has been increasing steadily since the start of the Industrial Revolution, and the grief has reached a depth now that cannot be ignored. I think that just encompasses the first statement, is that we've suffered a loss, and we don't really understand what that loss is, and how to retrieve what was lost, and what do we do to, not perpetuate that loss going further. So that's interesting. I speak of the wild man in this book and the distinctions between the savage man and the wild man. Now, what he's saying here is that the wild man is aware. He's in tune with his surroundings, and the savage man is not. He's blind. He's acting on instinct, and I think that's important. How many men in our lives, our friendships and relationships that we have, do men act on instinct instead of thinking through and trying to achieve the greater long-term goals and long-term good? So that's something I'm going to be interested in. I think lastly here, but human beings, sensing that how much flexibility they have, might need in a meeting new situations, deciding to store a sort of knowledge outside the instinctual system. They store it in stories, then fairy tales, legends, myths. So as I stumbled around there, what he's saying is that over time, men have, in all people have encompassed the ideal actions, behaviors, starting in art and poetry, then it's in myth, and what else did he say here? Myth and stories. So if we examine the stories, we can pull out greater truths. Maybe the stories aren't necessarily factually true, but inside the story there's a meta-truth, something that communicates to all people, not just men, but all people on how to behave, how to proceed into the world. So those are just a couple quick points. Pick up the book, Iron John, May 18th. See you then. Bye.